Hello, and welcome to day 127, Becoming Peace, Meditation, and Inspiration. The name of today's session is, Are Apricots More Important Than Prayer? Stay with me, and I'll hold space for you to consider some thought-provoking questions. So I once heard a story about a young mother who had busied herself in the kitchen canning apricots. She was elbow deep in the process of removing the pits and cutting the fruit. Soon it came time to get her children ready for bed and to say evening prayers. She hollered at her husband to go ahead and help the kids get ready for bed and say prayers with them because she didn't want to take the time to clean her arms and hands and leave her important tasks in the kitchen. Soon, she felt a tug on her apron. It was her small son. Well, as he tugged on her apron, he looked up at his mom and said, "Mommy, are apricots more important than prayers?" Oh, her heart skipped a little beat as she realized the magnitude of her actions. She was reminded by a child's simple question that he was watching her every move and applying her example to life. No, son, apricots are not more important than prayers. She quickly rinsed off her forearms and hands, picked him up and gave him a nuzzle, and headed for the side of his bed to listen as her son spoke to God. When prayers were finished, she gave her son a long squeeze and said, "I love you, son. Thanks for reminding me. Prayers are more important than apricots." I love this story. It's been a reminder for me to keep my priorities in order, because maybe it's not apricots that keep you distracted from having your prayers or keeping yourself connected to God. Maybe your apricots represent themselves in the form of your phone, scrolling social media, or just one more episode of Yellowstone. Or maybe your apricots are more emotional, like, "I just don't feel like getting down on my knees to pray tonight. I'm too tired." Whatever your apricots happen to be, I'm going to hold space for you right here and now, for you to take inventory of what those apricots might represent in your own life. What are your apricots? What is it that you prioritize over and above your connection to Jesus Christ and God the Father? Consider some of these questions to ask yourself and write about in your journal. What are the apricots that keep you from having your prayers and connecting to God? What's that little thing that stands in your way of achievement? What are your actions shouting out about what is most important to you? How are you showing outwardly what your priorities are? What do your actions tell other people about what is important to you? Just like the small boy in the story, he was receiving messages from his mom that she was not intending to send. So what do your actions tell others about what is important to you? What messages are you sending? So I'll mind the time while you consider these questions. Go deep inside yourself. Take a big deep breath in and out as you carefully consider these questions in your heart and mind. Okay, let's come back to the here and now. the present moment. Take in some deep cleansing breaths and gently shake out your arms, your legs, your fingers and toes. And just for a moment, place your palms over your heart space. Let's send your heart light, pink healing light from heaven. As you breathe in, pump the light into your heart, and as you breathe out, all your hurts and disappointments are being released from your heart space. Keep breathing and sending that healing light to your heart for as long as you need to today. I hope you're enjoying the gentle sounds of raindrops falling against the window panes right next to me. It's a beautiful springtime storm today as I'm sitting here holding space for you. And I invite you to share this session with someone you love. Taking the time to connect with just even one person. Sharing more light today with them than you shared yesterday is a healing practice, and one with which you could bless someone's day. Peace comes when I make time to pray and meditate. It's a way you can show the Savior and your Father you are ready and willing to leave your apricots and connect with them. I hope I see you tomorrow. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to day 128, Becoming Peace Journal Meditation. The name of today's session is Put Pen to Paper. You know, we hear all the time, we become what we think about. Okay, I get it, and so do you. But just how is it possible to actually turn our thoughts around once they're part of our thought processes? Or how is it possible to just change your thoughts? Today, we're going to work on a solution to turn spiral thinking around. So stay tuned. The purpose of this channel is to help those of us who need regular faith-based rest stops, to let down the cares and the crosses of life and find a bit of peace. So, you're welcome here. And we're so glad you found us. Share this content with someone you love. Today's session is a journal meditation. So if you don't have a journal, a piece of paper, something to write on, and a pen or pencil, please stop this video now and go get one. You'll need these items to participate today. So here's a question for you. How do I change my thoughts? And here's another one. How do I change the stories I'm telling myself? Just how can I turn my thinking around? Someone just tell me how to do this. Wow, I can't even imagine how many times I've asked myself these questions. It's definitely not the easiest thing in the world. Just turn off my feelings? Hit the off switch and get over myself? Is that the answer? And how am I supposed to stop every broken record in my head that keeps churning and burning those negative stories? Well, it's a bit easier if you understand what creates the stories and the feelings you carry in the first place. Let's just start at the beginning. First, we need to understand in a nutshell how all this works. I believe that thoughts create feelings. Feelings move us into actions, and actions create beliefs. Here's a spoiler alert. We're going to discover an intervention for this later on in the week, which will help you navigate this issue, so stay tuned for that. But let me say that again. Thoughts create feelings. Feelings create actions or moving us to action, and actions create beliefs. So much of the time, I'd hear clients tell me, I just can't help the way I feel. I call bullpucky on that, because guess what? Feelings don't just appear inside your soul. They're a result of the thoughts that you allow inside your head to ruminate and mull over and over. So guess what? If you want to feel differently, you have to go back to the step just prior to the feeling. In other words, what thought were you having before you noticed the feeling? What thought or series of thoughts were you allowing to take up residence in your head? If you're feeling sad, ask yourself, okay, what story am I telling myself? Or what thought am I having right now that's producing a feeling of sadness? So go ahead and try it. Notice the feeling you're having right now in this very moment, or a feeling you had this morning or last night. What was the feeling you had? Now, go back a step and identify the thought you were having or thoughts that you were racing through your mind. Okay, now let's move to the second step, which is, okay, I've identified the feeling and understand the thought I'm having. Now what? This is where you're going to take out a pen and a paper and literally begin doing the work. A great disposition and happy outlook doesn't just happen. It doesn't come for free. It doesn't magically show up. And it certainly isn't just someone's good fortune. It's hard work, and it's worth doing the work in order to maintain peace in your life. So here's the next step. Put a pen to paper, meaning write it out. When you're trying earnestly to switch up your thinking, it isn't just a switch inside your brain. You have to alter and create new neurological pathways in the brain. So you need to do something physical in order to make hard, fast changes. So here's what I do as an example. A few days ago, I was really struggling with the blues. Sadness and despair crept over me. It was really bad. And one of the thoughts that kept playing over and over like a broken record was this: dang it, I shouldn't be in this situation at my age. I should be further along in life, having a home paid off and not struggling to start my life over. That was the thought. I mean, I was on a pity party for days until I stopped myself and said, hey, I know what to do to change this. Why aren't I doing something about it? I guess I liked wallowing in my despair. Sometimes we do that. So I quickly identified 3 feelings I was experiencing, and I wrote those 3 feelings down on paper: sad, angry, and stuck. Then I started writing the old destructive stories down on paper. I feel sad. I'm now an empty nester and I don't have my kids around me any longer. I feel angry that I'm in the situation I'm in right now. Angry at myself for not holding my boundaries stronger when I was younger and not allowing others to push me around. And the third one, I am sick and tired of being stuck and feeling like I don't have any options. Well, here was my story unfolding right before my eyes. No wonder I was sad and depressed. Who wouldn't be with thoughts like that? So, I then wrote a turnaround sentence for each destructive thought, or basically a reframe sentence like this: I'm grateful all my kids are raised and productive members of society. They're all self-sufficient and doing a great job managing their own lives. And the next one, I feel so incredibly grateful I'm literally 30 feet from my horses. Even though I'm living in a fifth wheel until June 1st, I'm so grateful I have my dream of owning and training horses. And even though we've had difficulty with running water and steady heat, I'm unbelievably grateful to be out on a 10-acre farm and living in nature with my dogs and horses. Do you get the idea? So here's the third one. I am the owner of a 13-acre farm and can go in any direction I choose. I don't owe a mortgage on this property, and even though it's going to take a lot of work to make it livable, I'm grateful for the blessings and stewardship of owning it. Do you see how this works? I literally wrote all of this out on paper so my body would process the change in thinking. First, though, I had to acknowledge what was going on inside of my head and heart to validate myself before moving to the next step as I wrote down my negative thoughts. Then it was important in the next step to reframe or change up my negative thoughts. It's very important to know this. If you're multitasking, please come back to me and listen closely. The body processes emotions through our sensory system. In other words, it takes our senses to process emotions. So when you take pen to paper and write out and work out your troubles, struggles, and reframes through writing, our body is physically helping the emotional process along. So in short, when you journal and write things down, you're allowing your body to physically disembark the negative thought. by allowing it to travel down your arm, out the end of the pen, and into the physical world onto a notebook. You can bring your troubles and trauma, your hopes, dreams, and resets and plans into the physical world by birthing them through the written word. So I'm going to hold space for you to identify one of your strongest feelings right now. Then back it up a step and identify the thought you're having which produced that feeling. Then write it down. Take pen to paper and change your feeling. Spin a positive story for yourself. I'm sure that if you continue this process over the course of the next few days, you'll have at least 50% improvement in your mindset and the feelings you carry in your heart. I've also noticed it greatly affects my self-esteem. I feel accomplished and like I'm in control of my life and not being controlled by an outside force when I choose to take responsibility for how I feel. Okay, here's your chance to alter your life and practice. I'll mind the time until you hear a soft bell. Okay, let's come back to the here and now, the present moment. Take in some deep cleansing breaths and gently shake out your arms and legs, fingers and toes, and place your palms over your heart. Let's send your heart space light, pink healing light from the heavens. As you breathe in, pump the light into your heart, and as you breathe out, all your hurts and disappointments are being released from your heart space. Keep breathing and send that healing light to your heart as long as you need to today. Thank you for allowing me to hold space for you today. And I invite you to share this session with someone you love and care about. Taking the time to connect with just even one person, sharing with them more light today than they may have had yesterday. It's a healing practice and one with which you could bless someone's day. Peace comes when I take responsibility for putting pen to paper. It's a way you can show the Savior and your Father you're ready and willing to do what you are required to do to get close to them and connect with them. I hope you have a marvelous rest of your day, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
In today's episode, I'm going to show you a trick and a way that you can actually flip your thoughts, change up your feelings, change up your actions, and alter your beliefs from negative to positive in just a few minutes. So I'm going to share my screen with you real quick and show you a little process that I created to help in the process of being able to be successful with this. So first of all, I want to teach you a concept of naming, noticing, and flipping your thoughts. Okay, we very first start with noticing the thoughts. So you've got to be aware of the thoughts that you're thinking. You can't just accept whatever blows into your mind like a weed in a garden. You've got to, on purpose, choose and notice the thoughts that you're thinking. Okay, that's the first step. So as you notice what you're thinking, then you get out a piece of paper and you write down what the thought is. So you're going to name the thought. And then after that, if it's a negative thought, the third step is to flip the thought. So let me show you an example real quick. An example would be about a month ago, I woke up in the morning and the very first thought that hit me as I got out of bed was, I do not want to get out of bed right now. And I knew right then this was not going to end well. I thought, oh dear, the end of my day is not going to be very good if I don't rein this in and get control of these thoughts. So that was my thought. I do not want to get out of bed right now. The next thing that happened was it produced a feeling of anxiousness inside of me. I got very anxious and just kind of very rigid, and my breathing became shallow, and I just became very anxious over this thought. Well, that feeling produced an action that I went right back to bed and I covered my head over with the covers. And I was like, I don't want to do this. Okay. So those were the thoughts, feelings, and actions, that the cascade that happened for me that morning, which produced an ultimate belief of This day is going to bite. And I knew right then, I knew how to fix this. And so I as I laid there, after I had covered my head over with the covers, and I thought to myself, wait, I know the antidote for this. So what I did is I noticed my thought that I thought it started all the way back up with my thought that I do not want to get out of bed right now. And so I noticed it, and then I named it. What is my thought? And I repeated it to myself, and then I knew how to flip the thought. Okay, so you flip that thought to something completely opposite of what the original negative thought was, over here on this side where the smiley face is. So I decided to insert the thought, I get to go to work and see kids who need me today. Now, as I resonated with that thought, I paid attention to what happened in my heart. My heart connected with that, and the feeling that it produced was excited of who I would get to help. It produced a feeling of excitement, of love in my heart for those that I got to serve that day. So love was basically what happened in my heart as a result of that thought. The feeling that came was love. The next thing that happened was I literally did jump out of bed, got ready, got in the shower, and got ready for the day. That's the action that thought produced. And then ultimately, my beliefs completely changed to this day is going to be the best. Now, if you look at these two thoughts, they're completely opposite. The one on the left-hand side of the paper, or the frowny face side, produced this day is going to bite. And if I go down my right-hand side of my page, all the way cascading to the bottom, the belief over here was this day is going to be the best. Now, if you look at those two beliefs, which one would you want to pick for your daily mantra to be? It's really not very hard to decide which column that you want to participate in. So this can also be done with very young children. And let me tell you how. If they cannot write like this on a worksheet, you can actually get this out, print this intervention out on a paper, put it on the table, get your child 3 blank pieces of paper. And what you're going to do is have them name their thought. If they're having a negative time, or they're throwing a tantrum or having fits, when you can get them calmed down enough to do some teaching, then you can say, draw me a picture of your thought. Okay, they draw a picture of that. Second piece of paper, you're going to want to ask them, what feeling did this thought produce? Draw me a picture of that. What does your heart look like? What does it feel like to feel this feeling? Have them draw a picture. On the third piece of paper, you can have them write down their actions of what that is. And then on the bottom, have them create a belief. What is a belief that's been produced here? Now, then teach them the concept of noticing, naming, and flipping a thought. And after that, have them turn all their papers over and start over. What is the new thought that they're going to consciously choose this time? And then again, on the second piece of paper on the back, you're going to have them draw a picture of what the feeling was, and draw a picture of their action, and then draw a picture of now what is their belief. This is so empowering to people who think that, well, I just can't help the way I feel. I hear that all the time from kids. You can help how you feel with this process. And it's very, very easy to institute a new thought, which creates better feelings, which creates a better action, which creates a stellar new belief. Please use this as an intervention. It will help you and your family, as well as your children, learn how that they can on purpose make great choices. I want to thank you for joining me today on our number 1 episode of 5-Minute Vacations. I appreciate your participation, and please feel free to share this with all that you love. Thank you for watching. Hi, my name is Heidi Magleby, and welcome to episode number 2 of the 5-Minute Vacation series. Today we're going to talk about feelings and processing feelings, how you identify feelings and how you may be able to flip those feelings that you might be having. I'm going to share my screen with you and let you take a peek at our intervention today on feelings. Feelings are much like waves. We can't stop them from coming, but we can choose which one to surf. Now, here is just a really great wheel that I found, which identifies basically your top feelings that you would feel, and then we can subcategorize those as we go out. So first there's anger, next there's fear, and then there's surprise, happy, sad, and disgust. Now, a lot of times people the very first feeling that they feel is just anger, or they have a lot of fear that happens. And so if somebody is their very first reaction is fear, what I'll often do is say there's something behind the fear. So this little section, this gray section here, could be outshoots of what fear might be, which is hurt, or feeling threatened, hateful, mad, aggressive, frustrated, distant, or critical. So you can kind of look to see what branches off of fear. And then there's another third branch that goes off of hurt, maybe devastated and embarrassed, threatened, jealous, or insecure, mad, furious, enraged, and so forth. And so this is just a great way that you can use this little wheel. Please print it out. And the very first step that we take in changing feelings is actually noticing them first. You have to notice them and notice what you're feeling. When you get elevated with disgust, or you stop feeling sad or surprised or even happy, you've got to kind of take note of that. You've got to notice that you're feeling something. And then the next step is naming it. Now this helps so much in naming your feelings. In episode 1, we talked about how to flip the feelings, but I also wanted to give you a tool that helped you to identify and name the feelings. This is a great way that you can even sit with younger children or teenagers and help them to notice and name their feelings, because you can't really alter and change your feelings unless you notice them and name them. Okay, so please use this as a tool for you to be able to identify what those feelings are and write them down so that you can acknowledge them and do something with them. Have fun with this one. I appreciate you joining us today in this episode, and please share this with your loved ones, your family, and your friends so that you can all be more in touch with those feelings. And then the next step is knowing what to do with them. And we're going to talk about that in the next episode. Thanks for watching today. Hi, my name is Heidi Magleby, and welcome to episode number 3 of 5-Minute Vacations, where we deliver stellar strategies for individuals and families. Today, I'd like to talk to you about something called the feelings box. I'm going to share my screen real quick. And if you remember the last episode, we talked about feelings and being able to notice the feelings and name the feelings. And this was the strategy and the intervention that I gave you in order to be able to become better and more proficient at that. So today I want to bounce off of that and build upon what we've learned the last time, which is identifying the feelings. Something called the feelings box. Now, this may take a little bit longer than 5 minutes to explain, but I'm going to be quick. So the feelings box was created by me back when I was teaching 6th grade girls. who actually had a lot of drama going on at that point in time. And I needed to teach them a strategy that they could learn to identify their feelings and be able to communicate what they were feeling in an effective way with others, and then go to a problem solve mode to be able to fix the problem. So let's walk through these steps. The very first thing that someone would do with the feelings box is to pick a feeling. So I invited each one of the girls to pick a feeling down here, and they picked a feeling of what they wanted the other person to know that they were feeling. And I had them write it on a little small slip of paper, each person that was involved in this process. So you pick a word which best describes how you are feeling. If you need to pick more than one feeling, that's okay too. But normally I'd only have each person pick up to 2 feelings. Okay, now the next step is super important. It's called I feel about because. So you fill in the blanks. Now get ready to express your feeling word. Say it out loud. So person number 1 or partner A would say, I feel sad. You'd use your feeling word. About what? About the way you looked at me during recess. Because, and then you state why. Because it hurt my feelings. Here's an example. I feel sad about you yelling at me because I didn't expect you to do that to me. So communicating in this way helps you to not point fingers at the other person. It helps to keep it with you, I statements that aren't attacking to other people. So this is a really great way to express yourself, keeping it I feel about because. The next step is validate and show empathy. So you're going to listen, repeat, and then switch partners. So repeat what you just heard the person, partner A, say. So partner B is going to listen, repeat, and switch. Okay? So repeat what you just heard the partner say. So partner B would say something like this. So if I heard you correctly, you said, make sure you understand what they said, and then repeat what it is. So if I heard you right, you said that you feel sad about me yelling at you because you didn't expect me to do that to you. Is that correct? What else? It's important to ask the person what else. Did I miss anything else? It's important to validate and show empathy at this stage. So once that you've repeated here, then you've got to also clue into feelings and show empathy, a feeling word. Something like, gosh, that must have hurt your feelings. Or, wow, that wasn't very nice of me. Or, gosh, I'm sorry you took it that way. You don't make excuses at this point. You're just wanting to validate the other person's feelings. That's all. You've got to learn to shelf your agenda until it's your turn to talk. Okay? And then once this process has happened with partner A exhibiting I feel about because, and partner B validating and showing empathy, then guess what? You get to switch spots, and partner B gets to say, well, I feel sad about the way you talked about me or said something about me because that hurt my feelings. Whatever it was, then partner B gets to go first, and then partner A gets to validate and show empathy. Okay, so that's the process so far. Now, as you get those 2 processes completed, then the third piece, the magic happens here where you can problem solve at this point. You want to find solutions. And so after each person has had an opportunity to express feelings, it's now time to reach solutions by problem solving. Come up with a few possible scenarios which could work for both of you. Honor each other. This process is successful because both people feel heard and validated. Sometimes the solution is just to be heard and understood by each person. Now I'm going to zoom in on these so that you can see them just a little bit better. And you can see the dialogue there. Okay, this is the process. And I'm telling you, with these little 6th grade girls that I was working with, we didn't even make it to problem solving. They didn't participate in problem solving because they felt heard and understood, each and every one of them that was involved. And they didn't even feel the need to move to problem solving because they had been heard and received and validated by one another. So it was a really magical thing to watch with these girls, and I knew that I had something when I found this working. So day after day, as they would go through their little issues of becoming more proficient at communicating with one another, then I would take them back to the drawing board, have them pick a feeling here, write it down on paper, and then take them through the process of the feelings box instructions right here. Now on page 2 of this intervention, this is just only the instructions. So I printed this out and made this available for you, just the feelings box instructions. So you could print this out, laminate it, and be able to just keep it in your kitchen or on your refrigerator or with your notebook or your planner, so that you understand the process by which you can more effectively communicate with I statements and not attacking words. Now, let me tell you, this is a very, very effective way that you can teach children, younger people, how to effectively participate and build relationships with one another by using proper verbiage and being able to have more stellar experiences on the back end of them communicating. I encourage you to use this in your families, teach your loved ones, your children, your coworkers. This is a very, very effective way to be able to handle a lot of the minutia that we deal with communicating and just obliterate it. Because if you're validating and listening and using I statements, there can only be good things that happen. And you don't need to do it perfectly either. So thanks for watching this episode of The Feelings Box. And next time we've got another great episode wrapped up for you in the way of breathing and learning how to calm your body by simply learning how to breathe correctly. Thanks for watching me with this episode. Hello, my name is Heidi Magleby, and welcome to episode number 4 of our series 5-Minute Vacations that deliver stellar strategies to individuals and families. Now today I'm going to talk to you about something that I've used for years with adults, with older people, and with younger people, all alike. I'm going to share my screen with you really quick. I'm going to talk about the feelings meter. Now the feelings meter is something that can help identify for you yourself or someone that you're working with about how you're feeling right now. In other words, taking inventory of where I am. Now, I love the visual of this traffic light, because traffic lights indicate, we all know what green means. It's where you're calm and steady and you can learn and you're open to new ideas and teaching and learning and you're calm. Okay. Yellow could signify, hey, I think I'm in the yellow. I'm getting just a little bit elevated emotionally. Now's not a good time to talk, really, but I need to get myself in control. I need to pull things back together, and us recognizing when we are in the yellow or someone we love is in the yellow. When I'm in the yellow, I need to try harder to do what is necessary to move back down towards the green. Okay. So the third step is, as we go on the emotional traffic light here, is stop. I am in the red. I need to separate and I need to calm down now. I'm out of control and I have lost my sense of rationale. I now give myself permission. I've got to back off. I give my permission to take a few moments and to be alone and to get myself back in check. Never discuss anything with anyone when they're in the red. Okay, so here's a great idea. If you print this out in color, laminate it or put it in a sleeve protector and put this on the fridge where your family traffic is most seen often. Then kids and adults will get used to kind of checking in with themselves to see where they're at on the meter. On the left-hand side of this intervention page, you've got a number system here. So anything between 0 to 2 would signify, hey, I'm in the green. I'm doing very calm activities. I'm not elevated. I'm in that space of just being in a space of being happy and calm and teachable here. As we move to level 3 through 6, that's where someone's got to recognize that they're getting a little elevated. Now's not a good time to talk. We're getting a little bit up there towards the red, and I need to kind of calm myself down. And then 7 to 10 is where you're in the red. Okay. Now, how to use this is really great. So if you have this printed out on your refrigerator and everyone can see, all you have to do is pre-teach this, though, when maybe in a family night or a discussion of some kind that you're teaching this process. And then you can use it as people get into the yellow and the red. Okay. So what you do is you have the person, if let's say that I'm working with a little 7-year-old in my family, or even my spouse, my husband, you can actually take them over and say, Kate, what level are you right now? And they might say, I'm at a 5. Okay, you're at a 5. I think that you're more like a 7. So you can kind of have a little bit of a discussion there, but you can kids can call out parents on this and say, hey, hold on, Dad, I think that you're at an 8. I'm not feeling like that we're safe here. You're at an 8. You need to calm down. And Dad's like, oh my goodness, what am I doing to show my family I'm at an 8? That's like communication. It's healthy communication for kids to be able to use it, saying, hey, brother or sister, hey, mom or dad, hey, grandma or grandpa, this is where I think you are. And this is where I am. So it's an evaluation scale of being able to help each other understand and know you can call each other out on these numbers and be able to, before you do this, though, again, you want to do pre-teaching with this in a setting where everyone's in the green and agrees to these guidelines of the feelings meter. Does that make sense? Because the last thing that you want to do is call a kid out you're at a level 9, you're way up there, you're elevated under red, and then have them be that just sends them over to like a 20 or a 10 plus, because they didn't really understand what the process was about using this process of communication. So the next step would be, after you identify where you both are, then you come together with getting the person back to the green, at least to a 3, before you discuss interventions and problem-solving techniques. Everyone needs to be between about a 0 and a 3 on this scale before you start problem solving. You might want to, as a family or as a group, as a organization, if you're using this within a work environment, lay out the possibilities of what you do from a level 3 to a level 6 to get people back to the green. And that may look very different for families or corporations or whoever decides to use this. But I'm telling you, this is a very effective intervention in helping everyone identify feelings, being able to choose a number of where you're at, and then being able to make choices to bring yourself back into the green, which is where we want to reside most all the time. I hope you enjoyed this episode of 5-Minute Vacations. Please join us and share what we have, what our videos are. Share them with your family, your friends, your workplace, and we hope that we're just going to be able to deliver great strategies for you to be able to maneuver and help yourself calm down with the feelings meter. Thanks for watching this episode. See you next time.